Science Fell in Love, So I Tried to Prove It is about two engineering student scientist researchers who may or may not be in college. To be honest, I don't think the show's very clear what the fuck they are, but it's about two of them who work at a lab that develop feelings for each other, and they start trying to use scientific principles and methods to, one, figure out if they actually are in love with each other, and two, if they are, how to prove it, and sort of lay a foundation for what causes and how to define love. They're also joined by other members in the science lab who are also working on their own projects for what the season builds up to, a large presentation. Now, my number one issue with the show is the characters. And considering this is a romance, that's the only issue I actually need. So both characters are, in essence, the same person. They're both highly analytical, and they have a tendency to sort of ruin any sort of romantic moments or tension by overanalyzing things, which isn't bad per se, but it is pretty much the one and only joke the entire show decides, and they run that thing into the ground over the course of 12 episodes. And because these characters are essentially just the same person, except for the guy is considered to be slightly smarter and the woman is slightly more emotional, which I think might be an offensive sexist stereotype, but I actually don't care about that. I just was realizing it as I was describing it. I never really end up in an investment in the relationship. Like, at the end of the season, there is this huge romantic moment between the two of them, and I didn't give a single shit because I didn't care about them and I didn't care about their relationships. I do think the side cast is a little more likable. More specifically, there is a guy who is at the lab who has just no business being at the lab because he doesn't know fucking anything about science, and I'm not sure how he got a master's degree. I don't know how he got a master's degree in mathematics, but somehow he's there at the lab with them. And he's childhood friends with this sort of aloof, sort of Fujoshi girl who he may or may not have a thing for, and she may or may not have a thing for him. The show actually doesn't make it clear. There's hints, but it doesn't go all the way. And then there's another girl who is the youngest of all of them who is researching the traveling salesman problem. And there is a subplot with her where she's really nervous to give a presentation during the big presentation conference that this entire season is building up to. And unironically, I cared more about this girl's stage fright than I gave a shit about literally anything else in the entire show. It is worth noting that they give descriptions of scientific methods and problems and theories along the way, usually once per episode, shown to you by a scientist bear. So I guess it's slightly educational, but like not really. So yeah, it's a whole big show where I have no reason to care about anything, and the most interesting thing that happens is one character has stage fright. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope. Bye bye!